When you realize that you can sew your own hot pad or pot holder, whatever you want to call it, the opportunities of what you can create become endless. Here's how to make it.
We're going to start off with 2 different fabrics, one for the top, one for the bottom, cut into squares of the size of the dish that you're probably going to be using this for. I personally cut mine into 11-inch squares, trace my dish with an air-soluble marker, and then we're going to layer our fabrics. First, lay your back fabric pretty side down, then your Insole Bright insulation, then your batting, and then your top fabric with the pretty side facing up. Make sure to get that all straightened up and pin it in place, and then we're going to head to our sewing machine. And we're going to sew right on that line that we drew with the air-soluble marker. Now it's time to make our little pie lines with our bias tape. This doesn't have to be perfect by any means. Just lay 4 pieces down and cut with a little bit of excess hanging off, and make sure that the folded part is on the bottom. If you want to be precise, you can use a ruler, or I just use the lines on my cutting board underneath. But honestly, a real pie does not have exact straight lines, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it has to be totally perfect. We're gonna pin those in place and head back to our sewing machine. Okay, we're gonna sew each line twice, as close to each edge as you possibly can. If you sew down the middle, then it would just kind of be flapping around everywhere. When you've got one strip done, do all the rest. And now we're gonna repeat the process, but on the other side. And voila, now we can cut all around the circle. It's okay if you cut the stitches. We don't really care about those right now. We're going to fix it in just a second. I will say this part is a little tricky, so we're going to grab the rest of our bias tape and we're going to try to sew all around the edge with that tape. Now you want to do this really slow and steady. You can clip if you want to. I did not, because I felt like it was just easier for me to move it as I went. I did also put just one little pin at the very start so that it kind of stayed in place as I put my presser foot down and started sewing. But it can be very easy to miss the underside, so just go slow and keep checking every now and then to make sure that you're actually stitching the top and the bottom together. Once you reach the end, give it about 5 inches and cut the excess off. And then we're going to keep sewing, but all the way down that little tail that you just created. We're so close to the end, we just have to put the lattice piece around, and this is going to really bring the whole pie look together. It's so cute. Once again, go very slow with this and just sew as much down the middle as you possibly can. And also make sure to back stitch the beginning and end of this. We haven't really had to do that just yet, but for this part, you do want to. As we reach the end, like I said, back stitch and then cut off the excess, and we're going to make a little handle for our pot holder. We're going to take that tail that we made and just make a little fold underneath. That way when we sew it down, it looks like it's got a finished edge. I chose to place mine where my lattice ended and began so that I could kind of hide that separation. And that's it. What's really cool about this is you can make like different little pie flavors for this. Ooh, you can even make this for all your friends and you each have your own pie flavor, and then when you have little get-togethers, you can bring them with you. Make sure to save this video to come back to and follow us for more tutorials.